New here at 4:30, it is a program meant to ease financial strain created by the pandemic. But a landlord reached out to us to say in her case, the city's emergency rental assistance program did the opposite. 2 weeks ago, we shared her story, and we now have an update from Chicago's Department of Housing, which says, blame the feds.
You may remember Babette Finger's story.
He owned that house since 1957.
After her father passed away last summer, she became landlord of his West Lawn home. She says that's when the tenant upstairs stopped paying. Months went by with no rent checks, so she and the tenant applied for Chicago's emergency rental assistance program. Finger hoped it would cover her losses.
I have documentation showing congratulations, I have been approved.
But she says that check for $6,300 of your taxpayer dollars that was supposed to have her name on it went to the deadbeat renter instead.
I just don't understand how they could send him my check after he didn't pay his bills for all those months. It's unbelievable.
We reached out to the city's Department of Housing to find out why, and they finally returned our emails after our original story aired. They said it was because Finger ended up selling that house at the end of last year.
I just think it's kind of strange that I did not know that if I sold the home, that I wouldn't get the money. It would go to him. I never would have even applied.
The Department of Housing spokesperson couldn't tell me if that warning was in the emergency rental assistance application documents, and we certainly couldn't find it in the frequently asked questions online. The city blamed the Department of the Treasury for making those rules, which say it doesn't matter that Finger was applying for back rent she paid out before selling the house. The federal government says that check has to go to someone tied to the address, and the city listened. So instead of saving it or donating it, they gave that taxpayer money to a person purposefully not paying rent.
The story that CBS 2 reported on is one of the most egregious examples that I know of.
Christopher Anderson with the Chicago Association of Realtors saw our piece and shared his disappointment.
It's a yeoman's job that the city is attempting to do, but we are disappointed that they missed some great opportunity to do it in a more expeditious and more streamlined fashion.
He says his organization and other housing advocacy groups wish they had a voice in making these emergency rental assistance rules, with the hope of keeping red tape like this from happening.
I would ask the city and the bureaucrats at the city to examine that through the lens of not only of trying to get the money out the door, but also the fiduciary interest of making sure the money's paid to the proper person.
Finger says in her case, it didn't. So that is $6,300 and months of frustration she'll never get back.
That person that was living in the home and still is does not deserve that money, getting rewarded for not paying their rent. That's sending a really bad message to the city.
Now, in an email, the Department of Housing told Finger that she could hire an attorney to try to get her money back from that tenant. But at this point, she says she's already spent and lost enough money on this issue.